The next album on the list at 469 is Manu Chao. I think that's how you'd say it. Manu Chao's album Clandestino. This album was released in 1998. It's classified as reggae rock, which I think is a little interesting. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that. This came out. It says this came out through Virgin, but I think it came out through so many imprints. Because this is not like a commercial banger, not even close. Um, but ultimately it falls under the Virgin umbrella. It's 45 minutes and 51 seconds long. It's produced by Manu Chao and Renaud Letong. This is his first album in his discography. It's also included in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. And it doesn't look like it was on the list of albums in any of Rolling Stone's previous iterations, but it is on the list from 2020. Kyle,
Hmm.
what did you think of Clandestino?
Hey, it's Kyle. Just jumping in real quick to ask, do you approve this groove? Let us know in the comments. Give us a quick thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation. So I went back. I was interested in that word clandestino, and in the description that like, on the Rolling Stone website, it said that it's a it's a derogatory word for undocumented migrants.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated hearing that because it gave me some sort of frame to come into this album with, because it's very largely not English, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's Spanish speaking, French speaking, a little bit of English, but all of it kind of sprinkled together. So having some sort of frame to come into it with, even though I didn't know the lyrics really, it's an album with a message, and I can always appreciate an album with a message.
Did you get into any of the like the lyric translations or
I
anything, or
didn't. I didn't.
didn't look that far?
No, I thought about it. But I didn't. Just because I wanted to let the album exist as it was for me in that way. Yeah, no, maybe I should have. Is that something you looked into?
Did
No,
not,
no.
but I read more about him because this was one of those albums where I was like, why is this on the list? I don't understand. Musically, I didn't think there was anything revolutionary about it. And then I was reading about him, and I kind of got an appreciation for him, I guess. He's like mostly a busker that had a band and he traveled around and played. And when
Hmm.
you listen to this, there's a lot that makes a lot of sense.
No, I was that I kept seeing that digital busker moniker, like
Yeah.
title given to it too, and that was one thing that I had noted down, was that it kind of, listening to this album does kind of feel like you're walking through, a city, and he's a dude on a corner playing this music
Hmm.
for you.
And when I heard or when I read that and I listened to some of the stuff, I it made more sense because this was largely recorded by him and processed or produced on a laptop that he called what I just saw it, Clandestino Studio. Like
Hmm.
that, like it was just very much like in his own world. And through that lens, I could definitely like there's a lot of stuff that was looped or could have been looped.
Yeah.
And then when you think of like buskers and that sort of vibe, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like this was him playing 8 bars or something and looping it, and then playing and writing songs over that loop and putting in melodies on lead guitar, stuff like that. One of the things that stood out to me was the overdubbed lyrics,
Hmm.
or I'm not the vocals.
Hmm.
And they're not, sometimes they're on the same note and melody, and sometimes they're split. And it definitely added depth, and I think that that's probably a clever way when you're recording with probably a microphone and a laptop, like a clever way to add a little bit of depth where it doesn't just feel like you're recording in a closet.
Right.
One of the songs that stuck out to me was Bongo Bong,
I
which is one of the
Yep.
few I think that's in English,
Yep, I had that
right?
one noted down too.
It's just like this silly sounding song. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know that it was a single, but I mean, it was probably the most approachable. Maybe it was because it was in English, but um, and it reminded me of like just a very silly song,
Mm-hmm.
and very 90s,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
90s.
I wrote down that it was simple but engaging. Like it wasn't overly
Hmm.
complex. There wasn't a ton going on, but it kept my attention.
Yeah. The other song that I thought was kind of interesting was "Welcome to Tijuana,"
Mm-hmm.
just because there's like a super deep vocal "Welcome to Tijuana," like it's just it's weird. Um, so I don't know. Obviously this guy is a guy that is pretty transient. He travels a lot. I mean, he's an artist. This album got a lot of respect, I think, because of the style of artist he is. I mean, he's basically untethered and just like wrote music and performed it. It didn't matter what language. Like as you said, there's Spanish, English, and French. Some of the song titles are in English. Some of them are in French. Some of them are in Spanish. Um, it's this is a hard record to classify.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's listed as reggae rock. I don't. I mean, I'm not really familiar with what exactly they call reggae rock, but I didn't hear a lot of reggae in it. Mostly acoustic guitar, some production on there, and vocals. Like
Mm-hmm.
pretty simple. Yeah. What
Yeah.
what did you rate this one?
I gave it a 3. I mean, I honestly liked it. Like I enjoyed it enough that I would probably put it back on if I was in the right mood. It's not something that's like gonna go into a rotation that I would just let play in any situation. But if I was in the right mood, I would come back to it.
I would give this one a 2. In that I heard it, I don't feel like I need to hear it again. It didn't leave me with a lot. Um, it it did do really well in France. Um, which again I think was his home country. I think he was a Spanish speaker that grew up in France or
Yeah.
French parents or something like that. Um, it went diamond in France, some gold in some other European countries, 2 times platinum in Switzerland. Um, but it doesn't register as selling at all, at least on Wikipedia, in the US. Which, it, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just
Mm-hmm.
this isn't something that many people in the US have ever heard, probably, unless they really went looking for it. I, this was one of those, like I mentioned before, that I don't know why it's on the list, other than a lot of people must respect, a lot of the people that contributed to the list respect him and his style. Um, in reading, I couldn't even really figure out exactly how it like inspired others or like led to others or anything like that. Um, but I did find out that he's still making music.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, the guy released an album this year.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so good for you, Manny Chao. Keep doing you. That was Clandestino from Manny Chao in its 469.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'd love to know what you think of this album, so let us know in the comments. Do you approve this groove? And as always, a quick thumbs up helps a lot. Subscribe so you can see all 500 albums, and we'll see you on the next record.